Hey everybody, and welcome to YAFI Here and Now. This is a show where we investigate and take a look at some great topics from decades-old mini documentaries from the hit show You Asked For It. We cover a ton of different topics as well as give lists. Today we're going to be exploring the top 3 secrets that you may not have known about Steven Seagal, the Eiffel Tower, and Niagara Falls. If you like what you see, don't forget to hit that like button and of course subscribe. Now our first secret is about Steven Seagal. This is something a lot of people don't know about him. He's actually a person, he's an actor, a very outspoken actor, and he has a tremendous background in the martial arts. Not many people know this, but I believe I heard once that Steven Seagal and Vladimir Putin, his pal, had a battle. Steven Seagal won, and Putin gave him the black belt of diplomacy. And what is exactly the success to Steven Seagal's martial arts? I honestly can't explain it, but what you're about to see hopefully will. And it's definitely something that I didn't know. I didn't know he was this strong. Well, let's take a look. Our number 1 secret, Steven Seagal.
Rich, we're about to see an Aikido master hold off the strength of 2 men using only his little finger. Now, we're at an Aikido dojo or school, and the quiet we're experiencing is the first step in preparation for their amazing display of the powers of the mind. This is Steve Seagal, the only non-Japanese Aikido master ever in the history of Japan to own and operate an Aikido school on Japanese soil. Although what you're about to see may seem very physical indeed, watch closely and you will detect the difference between Aikido and other martial arts. Notice that the master is merely defending himself, turning aside his attackers while exerting very little counterforce of his own.
In Aikido, basically speaking, there is no punching, there is no kicking, there is no blocking, there is no collision. Aikido is basically being able to be one with the universe, be one with nature, so that you can therefore sense the intention of your attacker. Here.
Aikido works on a philosophy of positive versus negative energy. An aggressive act, such as an attack upon an innocent person, is negative force. Defense is positive, and according to Aikido, will always win as long as one remains in contact with the universe. The power of the Aikido master lies in an accumulation of ki, the power of mind, but it can be deadly when applied directly. Aikido, or being one with the universe, as Steve says, produces some unbelievable results. We don't know how this power works, but we're about to see it demonstrated even more dramatically. Now, Steve is preparing to demonstrate the sheer power of his mind. As you can see, 2 black belt students on either side of him can easily pick him up off the ground. But look what happens when he doesn't want them to. Now he will go one step further for an even more dramatic demonstration. He will withstand the combined strength of 2 men using only his little finger. There are no special stances in Aikido. You just stand passively, wait for the attack, make your move. It's as quick and easy as saying, you asked for it. Sayonara, Rich-san.
If Steven Seagal could act on the same level as his martial arts abilities, there's no question in my mind, he's a Tony winner. Our number 2 secret involves France and their Eiffel Tower. a lot of people don't know that there's a secret hidden apartment within the Eiffel Tower. The Eiffel Tower, it's more than just a landmark. It's more than just something to climb all the way up and, change your pants because of the heights that you go. But this secret is just so cool, and I'm about to share it with you right now.
Over 3 million visitors a year are drawn to the spectacular Eiffel Tower. And yet, how many have ever been inside the room at the very top? Completed in 1889 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the French Revolution, it was a massive undertaking for its day. At 57, Gustave Eiffel was at the height of his creative powers. 12 years earlier, he had built the highest bridge in the world. And this experience he brought to the challenging task of his tower, an all-steel latticework rising 984 feet above the city. Nothing quite like it had ever been built before. Eiffel's advanced knowledge of metal arches and trusses paved the way for a revolution in building construction. Today, while the usual maintenance goes on, the old Iron Lady is also undergoing a weight reduction. For safety, she has to lose 1,000 tons or so. But though she shakes in the wind, expands in heat, and shrinks in cold, very few visitors can resist taking one of the most exhilarating elevator rides to be found anywhere. But this time, the elevator is taking us to an exclusive inside look at the secret compartment on the 3rd level, high atop the tower. It's a room that Eiffel himself reserved for his own use. Tourists may see it only from the outside, but our You Asked For It cameras are going in. The small living quarters were provided as a study and scientific laboratory for Eiffel himself. A wax effigy of the master builder sits contemplating the view of the Paris he loved. But he shares this view with another great scientific figure of that day, Thomas Edison. The American inventor's famous early phonograph occupies a space near Eiffel's seismograph, a tribute to Franco-American relations at the very top of France's beloved Eiffel Tower. The tower itself, with its breathtaking views of Paris, one of the world's most beautiful cities, is a lasting monument to the vision of Gustave Eiffel. The secret of the Eiffel Tower, because you asked for it.
I wonder how much the rent is there. It's cool because when you leave your apartment, you go downstairs, you get a baguette. I mean, how cool would it be to have a landlord who wears a beret? And our number 3 secret on this episode is the secret of Niagara Falls. A lot of folks don't realize just how wet it is. My grandfather used to share so many stories of how he and his pals would stuff themselves into a barrel and roll themselves over into Niagara Falls. But I never believed him. Niagara Falls. Pretty dangerous.
Niagara Falls, an example of the breathtaking beauty to be found in nature, and at the same time an awesome display of thunderous natural power, so great that man could never possibly duplicate it. Now, the amount of water pouring over these falls is 1,500,000 gallons every second. Yes, every second. And it carries with it anything that's caught in its murderous current. Now, many times people have purposely defied death by challenging the falls and the horror of the whirlpool and the giant rapids below. Many won the challenge, others did not. The great Blandine. In 1859, Blandine was the first to walk a tightrope across. At midstream, he performed incredible stunts, finally forcing his terrified manager to ride across on his back. 13 Niagara rope walkers in all, and one was a lady. Signorina Maria Spiltarini. Hats were passed around to the watching spectators, and they dropped in a few coins. In 1883, Captain Matthew Webb, the first man to swim the English Channel, dived into the rapids below Niagara Falls. His lifeless body was recovered 7 miles downriver. Carlisle Graham shot the rapids in a huge barrel 5 times. His reward was almost total deafness for the rest of his life. Shooting the rapids was one thing. Shooting the high falls was another. A man might make the attempt and live. Strangely enough, it was not a man, but a woman, a school teacher named Anna Taylor, who dared try it first, with little more than an oversized whiskey keg. On October 24th, 1901, she calmly slipped inside, the top was sealed, and the barrel pushed out toward the pounding falls. 3 hours later, they fished the barrel from the rapids and brought her to shore. She'd taken a fearful beating. How she lived, no one will ever know. We're in New York with Roger Woodward, who at the age of 7 defied astronomical odds by being swept over the falls as a result of a boating accident and survived.
We left from the top part of the river where this man lived, and I asked the man if I could drive the boat, and so he let me operate his boat, which was it was a small boat with an outboard engine. We got into a little bit of rough water, and some rough waves hit the boat, and then all of a sudden, I remember, I guess it was about the second wave, the boat flipped over. I was scared to death. I didn't know where I was at the time, and I really didn't realize that I was going over the falls, you know, but I do remember a sensation of falling and just floating through the air, I guess you'd call it. And then I remember that things turned dark, and I felt as though I was just scared to death. I began to see light, as though maybe I was under the water and coming up, and as I was getting closer to the top of the water, it became lighter, you know. From the rocks and the rapids itself, I was beaten, you know, fairly bad, bruised, and I couldn't walk for around 2.5 days, and I did have a slight head concussion.
A wonderful young man with an incredible story.
I highly suggest that no one out there who is watching this ever attempt to dive into Niagara Falls or go kayaking. It's just, it's not good. You're basically going up the falls without a paddle. Do people still get married at Niagara Falls? You know, it's true. Niagara Falls, Viagra rises. Well, those are the top 3 secrets of Steven Seagal, the Eiffel Tower, and Niagara Falls. Remember, hit that like button, don't forget to subscribe, and share this video with your pals because they will probably be as amazed as I was. And now that you know these secrets, you can quietly share them with your friends and family. Thanks for watching YAFI Here and Now. See you next time.